So, just a few thoughts that I was having today. Probably not really new thoughts, but um, it's been a consistent thought and concern, and I would maybe even say frustration with the Christian community of what we've turned standing for truth into. I think we could start well, right? I think we could start something really well and then quickly turn, I would even say, selfish, prideful, um, maybe even corrupted. And so, what my thoughts have been going towards lately has been we have different cultures in the world, right? We have different cultures that we call it, like cancel culture, like call out culture. Um, and so, I was thinking about these things that we as the Christian community has even adopted, where we call out a lot. We call out those that we don't think are Christians, but they claim to be, right? And so the things I'm about to say that I'm concerned with are not by themselves bad things. I just want to say, let's be careful. So we have these different cultures, like call out culture, where we call out these people, these types of things, we call them out, which is great. We have, I would say, cancel culture, which is kind of very similar, where, this person is not preaching the right gospel. They are maybe teaching things that we disagree with. That's usually the case, to be honest. It's just people that we disagree with. Maybe we're right and they are wrong, but we go towards these things that are worldly created, like cancel culture. Like, we want to cancel this person, and so now we just go into this attack mode, and we do all we can to bash them, to slander them, to put them down. And then we go the next step of putting down those that follow them, that agree with them. So now we've just adopted a whole new culture of just going after people that we disagree with, going after people that may be in the wrong, but now we are too. And so I just think about these things that, like I said, could start well. We could have a good intention to stand for truth. Absolutely, we should. But my mind was going to is we have all these cultures, and I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking of, but I think of those two that a lot of Christians have really adopted in a strong sense. Like, let's cancel all these people, all these types of people, and all those that follow them. Let's call them out, and this becomes the passion. Like I said, there are people that may be wrong, and so they might need to be emphasized, and truth should be highlighted, so we know what right and wrong is, what is biblical, what is not. So that is absolutely something we should do. But I think when we walk into a culture of just doing that, and a culture of going on attack mode and being more against things, then we might be in danger of losing sight of the most important things we can do. So it's like, when we want to influence a culture, we don't start a new one. We represent the right one. That's where my mind goes to. And so we have cancel culture, we have call out culture, and I'm sure there's more. But my question is, what about kingdom culture? We go on attack mode, point our fingers, slander, and we spent so much energy putting down and attacking things that are wrong, which I think, like I said, there's some good there. But what if? What if the goal of standing for truth just looked a little bit different? Instead of attacking, and now we look crazy, and now the image of Christ that we're to be bearing isn't very visible. Instead of that, we could counteract the cultures that are not so good and we could just represent the right one well. Kingdom culture. And my mind goes to it. And so before I go there, I will use a scripture of, I think, where the intent starts. The intent should be like Ephesians 5:11. Paul writes, "Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them." Obviously, that's just one statement in the middle of a lot of other things he's saying, but I think that statement alone is so powerful. I love it. Some, I think, take it and go a whole other direction of going in attack mode, but you have to use the wording. Look at the wording. It's take no part in it. That's how he starts off the statement, is take no part in it. That should be caution in the unfruitful works of darkness. So we have to be very careful when we start going on a mission to stand for truth or to go against evil and going against things that are deceitful, like going against something. Make sure you're not taking part in it. But he says, instead, expose them. And so, like I said, call out culture. To call out something that's wrong. There it is. We should expose. But my concern and maybe my question would be, what's a better way to expose something? What's a better way that we could expose the unfruitful deeds of darkness? Is it to attack it and now we diminish the image of God that we're to be bearing? Or can we just emphasize truth? Emphasize how we are image bearers. Emphasize God's standard. I just wonder, what if instead of adopting the cultures of the world that are call out, cancel culture, standing for truth, but you're really just attacking. Instead of those things, what if kingdom culture looked a little bit different, where we just stood real strong on truth? We emphasized it and allowed that to expose the unfruitful deeds of darkness. What if we allowed those things, like standing for truth, allowing and submitting to the fruit of the Spirit that should be within us? I wonder if that would be enough. Instead of us, our flesh, doing things that we were never meant to do. And so my mind goes to instruction that Paul gives Timothy as he's trying to raise him up. And I don't want to use this out of context because we're not Timothy, right? But the instruction that Paul gives Timothy, I think is so important, and we should adopt. 1 Timothy 4:12, and this is one of my favorites, where he says, "Let no one despise you for your youth." But the next statement, I think, is so crucial for us to walk in and represent well. He says, "But set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity." In those ways, those 5 major ways, Paul is saying, be an example of these. And so I just wonder, instead of adopting the cultures of the world, we adopted the culture that was already set for us in our faith, in our love, in our purity, in our conduct, in our speech. This wasn't written to us, but it's for us. And so I just wonder if we could do things a little bit different and we can walk in kingdom culture.